about you, but I am sick to death of all the free will apologetics used by the religious to get God off the hook for all the evil and suffering in this wacky, cuckoo, crazy world of ours. Allegedly made by an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-good super being. So this is yet another attempt to counter that with hopefully some new ideas. In this month's Mr. Deity episode, Mr. Deity and the Consent, I tried to humorously illustrate one of the main problems we should all have with the very notion of free will. The undeniable fact that so much of who we are was not freely chosen by us, but rather baked in either by nature or by God, if you're a believer in His divine providence. Think of all the things about you which were not chosen by you. Stuff that completely determines who you are. There's the time you're born into, your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, your intelligence, your genes and genetic predispositions, your chemical makeup, how you look, your skin color, your hair color, your eye color, your height, the opportunities you have for education or access to a particular skill set. This is Jacob Collier. He's a modern-day musical genius, the Mozart of our time. What would he have been doing with his life had he been born 25,000 years ago? As I point out in Mr. Deity and the Consent, none of us, as far as we know, ever consented to be here in the first place, let alone have the opportunity to make decisions prior to being born about the person we'd like to be. If God really wanted us to have free will, He'd need our consent for that, fully informed of all the potential nastiness and consequences that await us, especially if there is a hell where people suffer forever. God would have had to come to us saying something like, I'm going to create you as this person with these looks, genes, predispositions, etc. You'll live what's called a life on this planet where you'll exist for 57 difficult years in an area where my word is available but not very popular. If you can somehow find your way to my word, embrace it, and live by it, you'll have an eternity of bliss. But if you don't, you will be tortured forever. So, do you want to risk it and be created, or would you rather not? That's free will, motherfucker. And none of us would have made that bet. In 2018, I was diagnosed by my doctor as having sensory processing sensitivity, making me a highly sensitive person. I went straight home, got on Google Scholar, and read for weeks about the genes they'd discovered, related to the way my nervous system differs from 80% of the population. The genes affect the serotonin and dopamine D4 receptor genes, as well as the main neurotransmitter to the central nervous system, norepinephrine. Not to be confused with the brilliant and lovely Nora Ephron. Reading about the associated personality traits, it was like someone had been spying on me for the last 53 years. I felt like I wasn't so much me as I was the expression of these genes and what they wanted. What they determined about how I should be, what I should care about, what I'd be interested in, and the choices I'd made. We may or may not be able to make free choices moving forward. Even that's unclear. But whatever the case, the game has already been rigged from birth. And if there is an omniscient, omnipotent God, He not only knows about it, He's the one who did the rigging.
It's a rigged system.
Think about it. He created you to be you, specifically you. Whoever, however you are, God wanted and created you to be that way, so that you'd do exactly what He always knew you'd do, so that His plan would run perfectly, without a hitch. Yes, even you, Judas, Hitler, Dahmer, Celine, giving us free will now, in the bottom of the ninth, couldn't possibly get God off the hook anyway. With great power comes great responsibility. With all power comes all responsibility. If God exists, He created evil. You know how we know? 'Cause He's God, the all-powerful creator of everything. Nothing exists without His making it happen. So you are who you are, making the choices you make because that's exactly how God wanted it, and always knew it would go down.
It's a rigged system.
It certainly is. Once again, I'm me. Thanks for watching.